Hey, this is Bethany, and today I'm going to be showing you all my general makeup foundation full routine that I have in the morning before I go to work. So as a lot of you know, I work full time and I'm like a Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar specialist. So I walk customers through their vehicles and I tell them about the features and I talk to them about the technology and I get them all set up because, believe it or not, cars are getting pretty complicated these days, so that's why my type of job exists. So I'm very one-on-one with people, sometimes for up to an hour or more talking about their vehicle. So I like to look, you know, presentable, well put together, but not like intimidating with like really fierce eyeliner or really fierce makeup or anything. I just like to look, you know, kind, professional, and maybe a little sparkly with a touch of highlight, things like that. By the way, I did forget to include that I often wear glasses at work just because contact lenses stress me out to try to put them in the morning, and I get a little bit about trying to stretch my eye open to pop a contact lens in there. I just feel like that could be aging. Do that every day of your life. So yeah, this is how I typically look at work each day, and this is why I don't go too heavy with my eye makeup as well, because only so much of it is going to be seen through my glasses. Mind you, you can get away with a bigger wing with glasses because people won't even see it. So this is what I look like for work, so let's proceed. Alright, so first things first, I start with the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray and I just spritz that on my face a bit. I wave to kind of hurry up the process of it drying because I'm always in a hurry to get ready for work. And then I hop over to my NYX Hydra Touch Foundation Primer. I just gently smooth this on the main points of my face. And then for a moment it will look like my skin is angry at me, but I promise it's fine. After that, my next step is always applying my Maybelline Age Rewind Circle Eraser Concealer underneath my eyes, so I blot quite a bit of it. And I can even let it set for a moment because it's a really thin formula before I blend it out. And then next for foundation, I have two different choices I typically go with. There's my MAC, which I don't lighten as much. It's a little lighter than this and it's more neutral toned. Or if I want to go to my more thrifty option, I use my CoverGirl 3-in-1 foundation, which is a tad dark, so I lighten it with NYX's white foundation mixer. But in interest of saving time, I've been using MAC NW10 and not even lightening it. Though it could stand to be a tad lighter, I just make do because I'm usually in a hurry for work. So I'll just apply it straight to the tip of this brush, which I wash each morning with Dawn dish soap to cut down on acne, and I start buffing it into my face. Like I'll put it at the 5 main points and I'll go for it. So I like to buff outwards. And you'll notice this whole time I've left my under eye concealer alone. In the more problematic areas, I usually apply another layer and I blot more in these areas. Then I need to go in with some additional coverage because I still have acne scarring, so I take my MAC Prolongwear Concealer in NW15 and I pop it on that brush. Mind you, I really wish they made this in like NW5, but whatever. Pale problems, right? I'm just gonna blot that in the more problematic areas. And then gently blot that into those areas. I've been using MAC's Prolongwear Concealer for years, and I keep trying to find something that's comparable to it, and I've mentioned this before, so if any of you all have a dupe, a shade dupe as well for the one I'm using, let me know, because I'd like to find something more affordable and cruelty free. Then to set my foundation, I use a mixture of two things. I might use NYX's Hydra Touch Foundation. It just looks a little bit like skin, but it's a tad dark, so sometimes I only use that around the outer edge of the face. Or I use the Kat Von D Light 42 Locket Powder Foundation that my sponge just fell out of. But it's super pale, it's more cool toned, and it matches my skin a lot better. So I tend to favor this one and carry it with me in my purse. I'm just gonna set that in the T-zone and a tad elsewhere. Alright, next for most people is typically contour, but because I'm in a hurry for work, I don't focus on contouring that much. If I do, or feel like my jawline looks like a little bloated that day or something, I'll take the NYX Hydra Touch Foundation Powder in number 2, so slightly darker than the one I showed you. So see, that's a little bit more warm. And I'll take a powder brush that's kind of dense so I don't pick it up too solidly, and just put a little bit under my chin. Nothing too major though. and I might swipe it up by the cheekbones, but I really don't use a very precise contour before work because I just don't have time. And next is blush, which I typically apply very subtly. So I'm really favoring this NYX stippling brush. This is the Makeup Geek blush in Cherish. You all have seen me use this before, and I just think this is a perfect shade for fair skin. It just looks like an actual, you know, inner glow to my skin. It's just beautiful. And it's got a bit of a satin finish, so it's not uber shimmery and fake looking. It just looks legitimately like I'm in love. Now, if my face at this point is looking cakey, and if I do have time and the thought process to do so, I will grab my NYX matte finishing spray and give my skin a mist. So now I'm gonna do a little bit of a spritz. Now my next step is eyebrows. I still use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Auburn, so I'll pull in to show you all that, and I'll link my full eyebrow routine below and kind of peruse over this. So I'm primarily focusing on getting my eyebrows filled, but not making them particularly perfect because I don't typically have that kind of time in the morning. I'm also gonna comb through them just to soften some areas. Okay, so next I'm gonna prime my eyes. I typically use the NYX Flesh Toned Eyeshadow Base. It's similar to MAC Paint Pot, though in Soft Ochre, though I like that color better and I like the longevity of it better. I just can't find mine, and this is a nice thrifty alternative. And it's kind of dark for my skin, but I kind of spread it out very gently with my finger. So this is the Lorac Pro 2 palette. It's the gray one. And I take this matte cream color, it's called Buff, and I just kind of set my primer with that and work it up to the brow bone. This will just help me blend out my eyeshadows that are coming after this that I'm typically blending in a hurry, so I don't have time to make them perfect. So you all will often see me start an eyeshadow look with Makeup Geek Beaches and Cream, which I need to repurchase. And I will, you know, do that to warm up the crease. But I've been going in with a little bit more of an aggressive color to do that. And this is called Bake Sale by Makeup Geek. It's a little warmer, a little more dark, a little bit more tan. So that's what I've been using to start things up, just so I have a few less processes in between to build up the color I want. And then I'll just kind of warm up the outer edge here below the brow bone. Then bring that down towards the outer end of the eye. Just warming up this area. I don't have a lot of time to get really particular with what I'm doing, but there's just this one set way I do things that I know flatters my eye, and it doesn't take a lot of time to prepare. And then I warm it up a little bit towards the inner portion of the eye. Okay, so once I've gotten Bake Sale built up in my crease, I'm gonna take tan lines and Cabin Fever and mix them together. And I'm just gonna work that all over into the crease and then onto the lid as well, because I'm gonna use that as a base for a shimmery shade. I typically go with this same brush or a similar one because I'm in a hurry. So I'm gonna work those two darker shades on the outer edge of the eye. And then once I have a little bit of residue, I'm gonna drag that in. Alright, so now I've got a lot of warmth built up in the eye. I'll go in with a clean blending brush I specifically put aside for this purpose and just kind of soften out these edges. Then I also go in with that highlight shade that I originally had and I brighten up the brow bone again. And now it's going to be time to add shimmer to the lid. And so for shimmer, I've been using Makeup Geek's Foil Eyeshadow in Legend, and I just pick up any old shader brush and put that on the lid. Kind of work it into some areas. And if you want to really lay it down, you can just use your finger and it's like bam, metal on your eyeball. Looks awesome. Alright, next I'm going to be taking this eyeshadow. It's a duochrome and it's in the shade I'm Peachless. And it has like a copper gold shift to it. I'm going to be picking it up on this little bitty dense brush and working that on my inner corner of my eye. I'm just going to work that to where it spreads onto the lid. Just to give a little bit of that multi-tone shimmer. And then work it down here as well. I also take Kat Von D Thunderstruck and I brighten up that inner corner just a tad more. Because this also has a duotone essence to it, but it's not quite as peach as the other one. And it's going to give it a little bit more brightness, just a touch. So it's almost like a copper rainbow. It's really pretty. Alright, now that we've got our eyeshadow taken care of, I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes. For mascara lately, I've been using the Rimmel Volume Colorist. This is a gradual lash tinting mascara, which I will mention in my favorites video to you all and tell you how it works. And then also using the Maybelline Classic Volume Express on top of that. So where did that accent come from? There it is, and I don't know what that means. It just blinked into my eyeball. Fantastic, Bethany, great. You're a credit to your profession. So I typically first do a quick coat of the Rimmel and then another coat of the Maybelline to just kind of separate them and keep them curled because this one is waterproof. So now my makeup is almost done. Typically, I have actually been highlighting my cheekbones and my upper lip with Kat Von D Thunderstruck, but I found these two Makeup Geek highlighters are very similar, but they're more subtle and intended as highlighters. So I've been trying those out. It's a very similar effect, but more subtle. Kat Von D Thunderstruck is like, all my pores. So even though it's a really beautiful color. So both of these are really similar to that, really duochrome. They have golden, coppery, peachy shifts between the two of them. So I'm going to touch them with my stippling brush and add just a touch of highlighter to my cheekbone. By the way, these are the shades Lit and Psychedelic. Build that up a bit there and here. And you'll see these are really ethereal shades that give just a really subtle gold copper color in the shift when I move, so it's really pretty. Alright, now lastly is lips, and this is the silliest thing. So I do a lot of things to save time and to look well put together. I actually don't do eyeliner for work because that's too much time, but I use any tons of like nude lips, which I will talk about later. But a lip gloss color I've actually been wearing to work on occasion. The Tarteist Glossy Lip Paint in Slay. I can't believe that's the color. I don't even say Slay. Like, oh my goodness. But it's such a beautiful color and it goes well with these eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. It's kind of like a mauvey nude purple and lip. And it's really pigmented, by the way. So let's just get this on. Alright, so that is my finished makeup routine for work. Like I said, I typically don't wear this much color on the lips, though going into fall I will. So you have plenty of videos of me putting on a nude lip. I'll link a few of those below, and those are nude lips that I would typically wear to work, but I just wanted to throw in a bit of a more colorful lip since it's November and I will be doing that. So this is my general eye makeup, my face makeup before I run off to work each day. So I like to look credible, well put together, but not like too intimidatingly fierce, so that maybe if I deal with a customer who's a bit more shy, that I don't like give her weird vibes or something like that. Just like to look approachable and nice. So yeah, I plan on doing more routine type videos in the future. I did really enjoy this one and I hope you all did too. So anyways, if you all have any questions about my work makeup routine or my work or why I do the things I do, go ahead and leave them below. I certainly don't mind answering them. So I hope you all are having a great day, and as always, thank you all for watching my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.